a bit about myself. I've been 30 years in the industry, but my industry is very unique. It's in Defense Science Organization. I'm in ST Engineering, also in defense area, security areas, data center, command and control, and several other major systems, which some I can say, some I cannot say, right? But more importantly is, when we come up with this topic, we are thinking, how should we address AI? What really is AI? Is AI that threatening? We worried about it. So I said, why don't I and Juliet decided that we should. Let me have some minutes and share with you my experience with dealing with AI. Now for the start, when I tried to do this, I was asking for help. If I can use ChatGPT or DeepSeek, generate all this presentation for me, then my job is very easy. Unfortunately, I found out that when you're in the government, you have resources. When you're in big company as engineering, you have a lot of resources and partners that you can count on. But when you're alone as an SME, you've got to do everything yourself. So I did not manage to use these slides, is not generated from ChatGPT or DeepSeek. Right? It was through some of my experiences, and I think it's important to highlight them to you. Right? Let's move on. I'd like to share this with you. By the way, I'm from Singapore. We live in Singapore, so but we are traveling all over the world, right? And just to let you know, when I started my first job, I was in Israel. I posted in Israel, one of those we call software coders, software process. And the languages that we use is really outdated. It's called ADA, and even software like Eric Pascal. You don't hear them anymore. Right? But that's not important. The most important now is our government has moved forward, even us, a very number one comedian in Singapore, to share with us what is AI, what is happening. I realized that when you put a comedian up there, people remember what they say. If you put a newscaster or someone that's serious, they don't remember what is being said. Let me share this video with you.
Everything we have invented has been to make life easier. The wheel, the light bulb, telephone, and of course the computer. Humans wanted technology to think like us, so it started learning. With social media, AI started absorbing what we liked, how we thought, our history, our hopes. Today, AI is moving so fast, it's like it's on a watermelon sugar high. Deepfakes, self-driving cars, even apps that can write your essays and emails. In Singapore, we are already planning for an AI-driven future. Smart cities, automated transport systems. The future is here, and it's definitely smarter than humans. But the world is divided. Some feel it's good, some feel it's bad. Who is in control? Will we end up like the Terminator with AI being in charge? Thank goodness robots can't tell jokes, so I am safe for now. So what are some facts about this very important topic? Yes, the global AI market is expected to reach $2.4 trillion by the year 2030. Almost 80% of all mobile devices will have AI-powered features this year. And Singapore is readying itself to harness the potential of AI with our Smart Nation initiative. Now, here are some uses of AI. We don't have it yet, but could be in our lives in the near future. In about 10 years, our taxi could be flying cars. Yeah, car manufacturers like Toyota and Volkswagen are working on it now. AI-powered personalized healthcare. Soon, AI could create your specific health plan based on DNA and detect diseases earlier. AI is also forecast to help plan your holiday itinerary, personalized recommendations on e-commerce, streaming services, smart home assistant, online banking, and fraud protection. AI is going to be everywhere. I hired an intern called Gigi to book.
Okay, that's where we stop here. So, what is this AI? And you see there's a lot of messages being sent out in this one short video. Let me put it in another way. AI is actually not frightening. It's not going to take away your job. It may make your life even easier if you know how to use it. When we were doing our work, right, we don't have this terminology of AI. When we were doing Eric Pascal, ADA, this is object-oriented language, we were doing things fundamentally. And we want to repeat those modular software again and again and again. In fact, one of my undergraduate project was called Neural Network. And we were using expert systems, right, like a chatbot. But the expert system was written in Lisp and Prolog. Those were the time. It's not frightening, it's just that from then, where it was 30 years, 20 years ago for me, things has moved. And they moved into now what we understand as code, techniques, and algorithm that mimics human behavior. Many terminology came out: machine learning, artificial superintelligence, deep learning. Let's this terminology not confuse us. They could be subset of AI, or they are one branch by itself. As we speak now, next month in Singapore, we're having this Super AI conference. Every month, or almost every once to a week, there's always something going on AI. Our government got this organization that does the policies and governance, and have this organization that push AI, right, together with the vendors and partners. So we always coin this PPP. This is how we try to move the country, as in the heard, Smart Nation Initiative, together with the industry, private partnership programs. Let's move it out this way. But what being said is that, just remember to the takeaway is that your data is your key ingredient. Protect it. Don't give it away too easily. We learned that when we were doing our defense work, we were always doing client server. Data is with us. Data is never on the cloud. Now, everybody's talking about cloud. You volunteer your information to the cloud, but try not to do that. Now, think about, if you want to use their software, you have to give information, give the minimum. Keep the data, and then you will see how Dr. Julian will share with you how to use your data, structured or unstructured data. Okay, so I should put on the. These are just now some of the examples that mentioned in the video, so I probably do not want to go through it. But I just want to share things about autonomous vehicles and robots. These are very, very real practices, even before we have all these autonomous vehicles. I just let you know that during the Saddam Hussein 2003, Americans were using drones. Drones that fly into where Saddam Hussein was detected. Pakistan, I think, can't remember the names, right? They were using drones to spy. Today, how drones become so relevant and prevalent everywhere is because China did a great job. DJI comes about making drones. So is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? It's how we use a drone. Drones are not bad. Right? Technology in drones was already existing in many countries, but they refused to share. Right? Because those were the age. Right? Robots is the same. You have seen the shows, but you don't know that combat men in robots, we call it soldiers, that is robotic soldiers are already there. Just that we do not want to announce that we will use it. Now you can see, they're using the robots in medical. These technologies are there, but they are more moving it out so that you can actually enjoy it in the commercial world rather than leave it in the military world. So some of this work that has been done in the military are now made very useful by the commercial partners and world and the companies. Come to the trends. When I was looking through every big names, IBM, Forbes, Gartner, all have, and even this individual, Bernard Ma also have his own trend, right? What I like to share some of this is some of my experience, and some of my, I don't even know how they are going to do it, right? Maybe you all know something more than me, right? Sustainable AI, what it means. It is very narrow, defined for Singapore, is our transport system, our data center. These are the two things that I spent many years building it. In our transport system, we are trying to make it intelligent. We started making it intelligent by having traffic light that turn green when there's no passengers or no pedestrian crossing. The other side is empty, we turn it green. Try to reduce traffic by having our famous ERP system. Now we have ERP2. But on AI, we are actually learning at the data. That's why data is so important. We're looking at the data on how we can use the data to predict the failure of the car. Now we are moving in this direction, predicting that. Wouldn't it be nice that you can actually say, oh, my battery is going to fail, right? My clutch is going to give way. Get it fixed. One of the worst things we realize in sustainability in AI on transport is the failure of the car and failure of us to be able to predict traffic flow. So these two areas are really spent, and they spend a lot of time by our government to look into it. Together with ST Engineering, then we are looking at how to best do traffic management in our so-called initiative, Smart Nation Initiative. Now, data center, I really know that because of NVIDIA and all this AI, we needed a lot of power. We needed a lot of cooling. Singapore has this unique problem. We don't have much space. And our power is not from solar. It's not from hydro. It's from fossil fuel. So on one hand, we want to go clean and green in data center. On the other hand, you need more power, and where are you going to get it from? DeepSeek actually made us feel better. Because now they say they need lesser money, lesser power, and you do it better using the distillation technique. However, no matter what they say, you will run out of space. Right? The power that we all predict AI will use is tremendously high. So how do we solve this problem? People are looking at how to be more reusable, and can we build for data center outside of Singapore. It's actually happening. But infrastructure must keep up with us. If you want to put it in Johor, which is our neighbor, you need to create the infrastructure for us. So now we are building the MTR. Just one stop from Singapore, Woodlands, you can get to JB. And that's where a lot of our conglomerates, big companies, are all moving up there, building their data center. Why? Space is there, electricity is there, water is also there. So in terms of sustainability, I must share that the people must have done a lot of work studying the data, studying the workflow, and studying what is the best objective for Singapore to move. Now, AI in cybersecurity and defense, that's my key topic, which I am very, very close with. As I discussed that, we were writing codes ourselves. We were writing tests. If you are a coder, you will know that we have to write the code, we have to test the code, we have to do full load tests, we have to do everything. Then you were writing it in ADA. Nobody uses this software languages anymore. When it is, it's an object-oriented language. When it is passé, not unuseful, we have to port the code. And what were we doing? C#, C++, or whatever, we were trying to port as well. Those were the languages then. Now I think you are using different language. But what is unique is that we are writing translator and codes to port, just to help us. Further down, we realize that actually AI is actually helping us to write the code. You code the things to become the code monkeys for us. So you are actually writing AI write the codes for you. That will put the coders out of job. So the ironical part, you're writing the code to put yourself out of job. Not to worry. There are many other things you can do. Right? But what is happening now in defense is, this is very, very relevant. We are taking lead from the commercial industry. What are you doing in recognition, in writing codes autonomously, AI agents that use different models, and I use them to my best knowledge, and I use it autonomously. So in this area, in AI, in cyber and defense, this is actually what is happening. Right? Quantum AI, that is something that I will not, but it's very happening. Even in Singapore, we set a special task force, right, under, I think, Lee Kuan, right, she's from GovTech, right, to look at how to use quantum computing, which startup like Rigetti, IonQ, they are the ones that are good at doing this. They are startup, they are still far away, but let's not lose out. It's the chance. I will talk about AI ethics and governance in the next slide. AI healthcare, you see, this is what's happening. We want to be targeted medicine, and there is quite a lot of startup and companies that are doing this. If this is one area I want to bet on, I think it's AI in healthcare. Autonomous agent, generative video I spoke. Next one is sovereign AI. What happened in sovereign AI? Way before all this tariff war started, there were already restrictions. There were restrictions in the hardware, restriction in the software that goes to do. Why? People are worried. People are worried that you get ahead of us. People give you the best, but they got the better ones than the best. That's what I would say. I got a better one than the best. So what they sell you version 2, they got a version 4. And this is actually what's happening. We realize that if I use their cloud, they use their software, everything they know. What they know is your data you collected. in Singapore. What you do for government, you do the financial data, you do the biomedical data, all this we use a cloud that is not controlled by you and hold the data encrypted by you. They have a copy of it. So this is a reality that now sprouting up is sovereign cloud, sovereign AI. We also want to do our own infrastructure. We also want to do our own software, our own algorithm, but all this needed manpower resources, which is now the big problem. Where you find these people? So, what must we do over here? We do what we can with partners. Right? Some parts we have to say this data, you can use their cloud, but this has to be data controlled. Never get out of Singapore, or in any case, any other country. Keep your data. Okay, let me share something. I think this guy everybody's familiar with, and this has become a very big topic now. Everybody is talking about, is AI good or bad? Even Puma, our comedian, also raised up, is AI good or bad? What is good AI? How we control good AI?
Artificial intelligence is making headlines on a daily basis, and those headlines are not always positive. Even tech leaders and experts are warning of the potential dangers of AI, from the development and use of autonomous lethal weapons to turbocharging mis and disinformation that undermine democracy. But AI also has the potential for enormous good. Its powerful tools could drive forward the 2030 Agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals by making a massive leap in healthcare and eradicating diseases that affect millions, by transforming education and empowering people everywhere to build a better future. The AI for Good Global Summit, convened by ITU, recognizes the joint responsibility of governments, the private sector, United Nations agencies, academia and others to ensure AI reaches its full potential while preventing and mitigating harms. AI must benefit everyone, including the 1/3 of humanity who are still offline. Human rights, transparency and accountability must light the way. We must urgently find consensus around the essential guardrails to govern the development and deployment of AI for the good of all. I look to the AI for Good Summit to continue to explore practical applications of AI that can advance the Sustainable Development Goals. These applications will complement the work of the high-level advisory body on AI that I am planning to establish, as well as the Global Digital Compact and preparations for the Summit of the Future next year. Together, let's spare no effort to harness the power of AI for good. Thank you.
This was last year, right? In this talk, you can think it speaks volumes. The biasness is the most difficult to remove. If you don't want to share your data, that is another, you do this, you can't get that, you do this, you can't get, because how you remove biases in your AI models by having more and more data from different sectors, different parts of who wants to give you the data. So while we are aware of all these three major ethic concerns, right, Singapore started this ahead. Let me share a bit more, where they realized that AI, actually 2017, we don't want to call it AI, we just want to make sure that we know what we are doing. We have to set guiding principles, we have to set advisory councils, research program that is giving you money to do in this area. You heard just on the keynote, the JP who was giving it, she said she's going to give money. So the next question is where? Healthcare, where? Put forward your idea, get the money. In Singapore, we had AI.SG, we have A-Star that's giving money for quite a while already. Right, since 2017, they set up the advisory council. They say, where should we put our money? Healthcare, biotech, finance, and not defense, never defense, right? And transport, sustainability, green. This is where the money is going. just me quickly run through, I don't want to spend too much time because this is still work in progress. When the councils get together, they want all of us companies in Singapore to at least to know what you are up for. And if you want to make money from AI, this is the minimum you have to do, right? Two guiding principles, very clear, explainable, transparent and fair. That's why we have Mr. Kumar, comedian, who come and explain. Explain not only to people who are doing software, people who are in the data center, even to users of AI. We are all affected. We must understand what is it trying to do to us. You're so used to using financial or banking on the phone, nobody goes to the bank. You're so used to WeChat Pay, Alipay, just send money. You don't need to hold cash. But behind the background, AI is working. We are always worried that, hey, are you being scammed? Is it the responsibility of the government or responsibility of the bank that you are being scammed, or your responsibility just because you're careless? These things has been going on and on, ding dong. So we set policies. Our government is very good at it. Bank is your problem. So now see what the bank's going to do if a person got scammed. So banks come out with features to money lock and do lots of things, limit your transactions. Right? Those are what I call knee-jerk reaction. But looking at financial further down the road, what are the data you want to release and what are the things you want to build to make your financial easier, your financial decision easier. Right? Second principle, safe. We will never sacrifice safety for speed. Right? And if need to have a human there, let's have a human there in the room. Right? If it's not ready, let's have a human there in the room. Now, these are the few guiding principles which I think very general enough, big enough that all to follow. But they say, no, cannot. We need to have 4 more areas of internal governance, right? Well, you can see it here. They are your internal structure, your level of human involvement, the decision making, right? But they cannot say remove biasness. They say minimize biasness. You are from Singapore. You have a different. You are also Chinese, but you are also different. Right? Let me move on. I think this one you can see the areas. This is one video. Let's jump to the year 2039, where I personally like to see to the end of this that is happening. Let me show you this video.
By 2039, the world will look and feel very different. The rate of change is itself speeding up, and 20 years from now, power will have shifted dramatically. So who might be up and who might be down 20 years from now? Let me take you on a journey of possibles. Africa. A rapidly increasing population could fuel Africa's surging economic growth, with a pool of young, better educated and globally connected workers. But the biggest revolution in Africa might be the spread of vast super arrays of far cheaper solar panels. To quote one energy guru, the world will have learnt to put solar panels where the sun actually shines. Also up, China. The superpower, after cornering many of the world's vital raw materials, could it now control both its own people and many other countries struggling to repay its loans? Could we see a world where China exerts its influence through movies and music too? But if there are winners, which countries could be losers by 2039? Down, perhaps most of Europe. Financial services and banking will be overwhelmingly driven by AI, so Europe loses much of its global edge. Parents who once urged children to become lawyers and doctors begged them to become designers, artists, even actors. Anything creative, not easily done by robots. Down, but not out, the United States of America, eclipsed by China and paying a price for getting late to wind and solar. Also down, the Middle East, largely ignored in internationally because no one needs its oil and gas anymore. So what commodities could be driving the future in 2039? Fossil fuels have become the new forbidden fruit. Oil has lost most of its value. Alternative fuels plus a collapse in the use of plastics has seen to that. Water, clean water, will be more precious than ever. Water wars have replaced oil wars. Along the Nile or any mighty river, conflicts could break out as states closest to the sea fight those further upstream accused of taking too much of the water. Data, however, will be king. By 2039, more and more is being bought and sold, mostly illegally and in secret. All governments will rely on data as the method of control. Some countries will have followed the Scandinavian lead by choosing near total transparency of tax returns, earnings, lifestyles to reduce the secret data threat. And more citizens everywhere could be fighting back, becoming data refuseniks. Fed up with the negative effects of social media, will they simply abandon cyberspace wherever they can, minimizing their electronic footprint, even reverting to writing and delivering private messages by hand?
Well, we'll see in 2039 whether this really happened, but the takeaway is you own the data. Your organization owns the data. Don't give it away easily. Next, I have one last slide that Bob Miner was a cartoonist. In 1925, he drew this picture. Now, 100 years, I bring this picture for you to think what was he trying to do then and what was actually happening. Okay, remember data is king, keep it. And next I have Dr. Julian to tell you how you manage your data and what to do with your data. Right? Thank you.